What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Thank you for joining us for the morning bag. I'm joined alongside, as always, my guy, Mr. Jose Bouquet. We have a giant card awaiting breakdowns. Jose, how are you, my friend?
We're doing good. No, not in jury duty today. Not missing it, so ready to attack.
The winning streak came to an end. It could have been a horrifying evening. It wasn't horrifying. It started out horrifying. My early slate of unders was a disaster, 2-6. I ended up 5-7 in MLB. I got very, very low. I did not deserve the over in Kansas City, Baltimore. I didn't even want to. I feel bad for anybody who was on the under. And to make matters better/worse, I even hit a live bet on it, which I also did not deserve. But you know how many bad beats we take all the time. I just feel bad. Like Jerry Davis and others were on the under, and you guys capped that beautifully and deserve to cash it. 1-1 in NHL, 0-1 in NBA. The Timberwolves punched back, but I'm pumped up and ready to get to work. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Justin McKelvey ready to get to work. Stacks play day 1 and 2 in Mariners. Athletics over 7.5. Lakers Rockets over 207. Matty Ice with the taint play of the day. Reds money line. We're gonna go over all of that. Gamma Ray play of the day. Bruins plus 145. Great to see all of you guys rocking with a Los Chudy in the house. Your mailman bets. Cashman, miss you, Cashman. It is great to see you, Jose. We need to attack, and I don't think we should waste any time here. Barry Smith in the house. Barry Smith, very excited to hear your NHL looks, or all your looks, but especially your NHL looks. I'm ready to work, Jose. Let's get down to business, as our guy, the nuke worker, would say. Let's roll.
Yeah, we've got a fun game in Cleveland starting off with Ryan Weiss and Parker Messick starting off here. Parker Messick coming off of one of his most impressive career starts for him. As we'll look at the line movement first, because I don't know about you, Jimmy, but I don't have Wager Talk numbers right now. They're just not popping up for me for whatever reason. But we can tell you about the line movement, and I can tell you this line has trickled a little bit towards the Astros. It opened up at minus 145 at Bet Online. It's now minus 142 at Bet Online. Kind of a similar story at Bovada as well, minus 149 to minus 144 there. So slight movements.
I don't care. Look, if the books are going to tell us that Parker Messick is not pitching better than every single pitcher in the league, look, if they're saying, the sample size is too small, or Houston Astros bats are too big, or whatever they want to say, I don't care. As soon as this line was available, I moved on the Guardians. And as soon as the first 5 was available, I moved on the Guardians. Just copying and pasting the action from cappers in the chat. We got Gamma Ray. We got Dougie Wise, his free bands. Let us know what your plays of the day are so we can discuss them, break them down, talk about them at the end of the show. Nicholas Handy in the house. Barry Smith saying the over here on this one. I got the Guardians first 5 minus a half of minus 115. I got the Guardians full game minus 1 at plus 102. And Messick has been spectacular. Yes, he just took a no-hitter into the 9th inning, but his other starts were also spectacular. The Astros are hitting lefties very hard. Okay. The bullpens aren't very good. I get that as well. But this is just, look, every start he has, he delivers. And if the books are saying that the sample size is too small, well, I will bet against that. Kelly McKinnis in the house. Great to see Walla Walla Dose ready to get to work. So for me, I've doubled up, as I always have been doing. I've doubled up on Guardians first 5 minus a half. I doubled up on Guardians minus 1 plus 102. Miss Smokes a lot. We got Keisha in the house. Says Houston might score first, but still lose. I'm going to keep backing Parker Messick. And Ryan Weiss looked a little better in his first start of the season, I guess. 3 2/3, 2 earned runs. I don't know how deep he's going to go into the game. Look, why would I stop? Parker Messick is pitching like the best pitcher in baseball. Guy's a bulldog on the mound. Ton of confidence. I'm backing him here. I don't care if the line says that I'm a square-ass, foolish gambler. I'm on it. Doubling down. I will bet against the Sharps.
All right, let's keep rolling here to Cincinnati versus the Tampa Bay Rays here. We have, and again, unfortunately, no Wager Talk numbers right now. We'll hopefully keep refreshing and have those pop up at some point. I was going to say Corbin Burns, but it's definitely not Corbin Burns here. We've got Burns, Matz on our bump here. Funny enough, we've had a flippening in this line. At Bet Online, this opened up at minus 115. Tampa Bay, it is now minus 106. St. Louis, Cincinnati, getting all my cities mixed up here. They're the favorites here in this game now after a minus 115 opener. Bovada opened this up at Cincinnati minus 112. It's now minus 114. There, Heritage as well. They opened up minus 114. Tampa Bay Rays, they're at minus 113. Cincinnati. So a flip dog to favorite Reds. Now the Reds are the favorites in this game.
We also, in this game, have the taint play of the day in from Matty Ice. It is the Cincinnati Reds. Shout out to Matty Ice and sweet taint. The market got me off the Rays, and I'll let that, it got me off the Rays. I see Matty Ice on the Reds. Says Matt's has struggled versus Reds in his career, while McLean, De La Cruz, Steer, Suarez, and Hayes are 16 for 35, 457 batting average. Versus Matt's, Reds stay hot. Reds for him. You know, the appearances last year out of the bullpen weren't so bad against the Reds. He didn't face them in 2024, so he got lit up in 2023. Oh, sorry. Yes, that was it. So he got lit up in 2023. Didn't face him in 2024. It was okay against him in 2025. Look, I see a different pitcher in Steven Matz. The Rays saw a different pitcher in Steven Matz last year, and now he gets to start for them. But look, I'm not going to get in the way of this market. If the market tells me that the Reds are the spot here, that's fine. But I did move on the under 7.5 at minus 115. I did move on the first 3 under 2.5 at minus 135. I looked at that first 3 under this morning. I bet that last night after the show, after the nightly bag, and that's now minus what? It was minus 155 2 hours ago. So it's already moved 20 cents. I don't want to get too carried away, but the minus 135s on the first 3 under 2.5 that have moved to minus 155 are undefeated this year. Undefeated. Now sample size is still not very big, but I haven't lost one of them. And I don't think I'm going to lose this one. I'm on the first 3 under 2.5. I'm on the full game under 7.5. Burns coming off an electric start at home versus the Giants. We've seen him on the road just once, but he was spectacular in that start at Texas. He seemingly looks like everything that we've heard about him is true, and he's ready to be an ace. And I look forward to watching him pitch. The guy's got incredible velocity. I look forward to watching him pitch. Justin McKelvey on the over 8 here. We have Ronnie Lofton in the house. Morgan Spooner ready to get to work. Mr. Heat. Thank you guys for joining us. So double spot up. First 3 under 2.5. Full game under 7.5. Would also like to keep track of these first 3 under 2.5s that go from minus 135 to minus 155 because they're undefeated this year. I expect this one to cash as well at the drop. I'm in business here, Jose. In business. Shout out to Matty Ice and Taint. I'm not going to go up against it, but I'm comfortable with my position on the unders.
All right, let's keep rolling here to our next one. Brewers, Tigers. The Brewers, for me, have been an interesting squad to try to back and cap this year. I have gone back and forth whether I think they're a good team or not. And it's just these lines that they get lined up with are very interesting. Like this line opened up at minus 125, Detroit Tigers. I know we had some back and forth on who was pitching here, so that can contribute to the line. But minus 125 opener is now minus 107 Detroit Tigers. So the line's obviously coming down, on the Tigers here. We have Heritage here. Minus 124 opener is now minus 114 there. So 10 cents towards the towards the Brewers here. I don't like either of these teams here. Both of these pitchers I expect to have decent years. Kiter Montero, we've talked about many times, pitched in the WBC, the whole thing. I think that was good experience for him, even as a starter. Same thing with Kyle Harrison, traded from the Red Sox, who really didn't want him in the first place, and he was allegedly supposed to be the star of that deal. Red Sox didn't really want him, couldn't tinker with his stuff, goes to somewhere that actually wants him, and he seems like he's going to develop and blossom here. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest here. But I have no action on this game so far. No splits, but it's definitely a lean towards Kyle Harrison and the Brewers here. Just have not moved on it yet.
I have stayed off of this spot as well. I was very interested in the first 3 under. This line's moving towards the over. Some books faster than others. We have Heritage opened this up at 8.5, dropped it to 8. It's back at 8.5. It's only moved 4 cents at the 8.5, but you have BOL at the 8. It's moved 5 cents to the over, and it's still at the 8. Bookmaker also opened this up at the 8. They moved it to 8.5 at 9:39 a.m. Eastern time. Matty Ice says this is a Brewer spot. It feels like that is the case. The market moving towards Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison, we talked about last night with the knee and wrist discomfort. Got hit with a throw from Gary Sanchez right in the knee, and then he fell down on his wrist. And everything's fine with the imaging and everything. It's not a injury, but they gave him some extra time to recover. I want to back Kiter Montero. I want to back both of these guys. At this point, the market is pretty telling that, the Brewers are the bet here. The Tigers aren't hitting lefties. The Brewers are hitting righties hard. Tigers versus lefties so far this year, 211, 630 OPS. Brewers versus righties, 246, 754 OPS. I do think that look, this line is probably enough for me now to move on the Brewers. And I'm not going to move on the first 3 under. I'm not going to move on totals when the line's, moving against me pretty clearly. So that's where I stand. I guess for me, it's just going to be a possible bet on the Milwaukee Brewers here, backing Harrison. And TJ says, what odds board are you using? Well, I always use the same odds board that just covers the offshores. But I'm not using, and I don't know if I want to give it a shout out publicly. But we're not using cash flow at this point. But I've been staring at the cash flow for 18 hours. So I feel pretty comfortable with the situation, despite us not being able to help everybody out with it. I'm sure it'll come up back at some point, but I don't find it so necessary. And, a capper like Spooner, who's, such a thoughtful, intelligent capper, it's more the line moves to him than where the cash is. And if we can even trust these books. Now, I understand that there's situations that arise when there's all this money on one side and the line's moving against it, and that's a pretty easy spot to hammer. I also want everyone know that I did sleep yesterday, broke through the insomnia. So let's go. Let's be clear. Let's be thoughtful. Let's find our edges, and let's get that cash. So the first 3 under is going to be cut. But the Brewers is quite a possibility here. I'd like to watch this market a little bit longer. Jose, let's roll on.
Let's roll to St. Louis Cardinals, Miami Marlins. And if you had to design a game that I would hate to watch with 2 pitchers I do not like, it is this one right here. St. Louis, Dustin May, Miami, Chris Paddock. Now, both pitchers, like Jimmy said last night, coming off of pretty impressive performances for their own sakes. But here's the difference, in my opinion. Chris Paddock, at least he's, we'll start with Dustin May. Dustin May has not faced a team that I consider to be threatening offensively here. Cleveland, it's perennially bad. Boston, going to be the best under team in baseball this year. Their offense is terrible. And those 2 previous starts, he faced actually decent teams and got crushed. Chris Paddock on the other side here, his last 2 opponents, we have Atlanta and Detroit, 2 earned runs in both, 2 respectable opponents in both. I just think that we've got Dustin May as a little bit of fool's gold right now. And I think those offenses just made him look good. And I think he's coming in for a hurting today against the Miami Marlins offense. Quickly, I'll tell you guys as I refresh my splits here. For the last 21 days, and I can split it down when we're talking about another player here, another pitching hand. We have 13th best are the Miami Marlins against righties, 105 weighted runs created plus, while St. Louis is at 98, 17th. So not that too far apart. But I do want to back the Miami Marlins here and Chris Paddock. Line moving towards them. Minus 108 opener at BetOnline is now minus 112. And that minus 108 was to St. Louis. That minus 112 now is to Miami. So another dog to favorite flip here. Bovada, minus 117. Miami opener, minus 115 now. Heritage here showing minus 111 St. Louis, now minus 117 Miami. What do you think?
I love this baseball game. I would like to talk about it for 30 minutes. I love talking about pitchers that have supposed gas can clouds hanging over them, which both of these guys have. We've seen back-to-back very strong starts from Dustin May. We've seen this line move 10 cents or more towards the Marlins. The total's not moving. And I like Maddie's take here. It says hits righties hard. St. Louis struggles versus righties. Also, what AM is saying is a very important point. We still don't know what's going on with this, if the roof's going to be open. There's 20-mile-per-hour winds. So my thought last night was that it won't be open, but it's sunny all day. There's no chance of rain. So 20-mile-per-hour winds. I guess it goes down to 18-mile-per-hour wind. I just don't think that will be open. But again, it's too crucial for anyone who's interested in the total. Paddock he had that first start of the year. He lost 8 earned runs over 4 innings at home versus the White Sox, and then he's looked great since then. He doesn't always go deep into games, which is a bit of a problem here. But the Marlins bullpen has looked pretty strong. 3.39 ERA, 1.26 whip. I think there is advantages all over the place here. But I'm also interested in the first 3 under. I understand the idea that these guys are both terrible pitchers, but they're both pitching well right now. I need to know about the roof. I think that the Marlins are the bet. I also think that if the Cardinals go up in games, that it's likely a wise move to live bet the opposition with the state of their bullpen. And that's going to come into play. But Dustin May's gone into, back-to-back games. He's pitched 6 innings. Let's just take a quick look at the bullpen usage because it really, the Cardinals are struggling right now. So let's just take a look. We're loading bullpen. Okay, here we go. So we have yesterday Ryan Fernandez and Matt Svanson were used. So that means that Graceffo, O'Brien, Jojo Romero, George Soriano, Justin Brule, Ryan Stanek are all available, we assume, which is probably an okay situation for them. Mr. Sparkle in the house, Nicholas Handy on the Marlins team total over 4.5. Many guys only looking at Miami. So I'm going to leave it here at this point. The first 3 under is appealing to me with these. Like, look, when someone looks at Dustin May, they see a 6.98 ERA and a 1.60 whip, but he allowed 13 earned runs in his first 7 1/3. I understand what you were saying that the Red Sox and Guardians are not that, tough lineups, but they do manufacture runs and they do have the ability to score. And then on the other side, we've had the 3 straight good starts for Paddock. So I didn't have the confidence to pull the trigger. I have 9 bets in Major League Baseball, as you see on the ticker, but at this point, the first 3 under and the Marlins are question marks. I would say that I'm quite a bit closer to the Marlins at this point than the first 3 under, and the roof is very, very important information that we don't seem to be able to get until later in the afternoon, unfortunately. So roof, open or closed, is a big piece of this. I think it will be closed. Spooner says Miami's bullpen's been awesome this year. No Fairbanks tonight. I couldn't get to Miami with Paddock starting and no closer. That's very fair. TJ says May back on the road. Give me Miami. That is fair as well. Those last 2 starts versus the Guardians and Red Sox were at home, but I don't really know why necessarily these pitchers who are having their first ever starts in the ballpark in their first year with the team we would put a ton of faith into these home road splits and the home road dichotomy. But it is a valid statement. And again, Nicholas Handy with a thumbs down on Dustin May, which makes me want to bet the first 3 under because there's this stink that is stuck to Dusty May. And look, in the last 12 innings, he's allowed 2 earned runs. He's walked 1 batter. He struck out 8. Chappie Funk in the house, the professional, ready to go. So I think Miami is the one I'm closest to. The first 3 under will be more dependent on the roof. And there is Sharpie in the house. It is great to see you, Sharpie. We miss you, man. Sharpie in the house. The odds bunch ready to get to work. Looking forward to hear what that black book has in store. Let's roll on, Jose.
I'm on Miami first 5 minus 115 officially.
I guess that's the better way to do it without Fairbanks. If we're going to go, we're close to pulling triggers here. So why don't we take a look? So yesterday they had 4 guys go. Foucher went for 7. Fairbanks is now on back-to-back days and 3 of the last 4. He's only thrown 32 pitches combined over the last 2 days, but I agree that that's unlikely. And Nardi's gone back-to-back days as well. So maybe that is the best way to do it. But I know I'm not going to do it that way. I would say that even with the Marlins bullpen that doesn't have Fairbanks, the Cardinals bullpen is so weak that I think I would like to go full game. Again, we don't know about the roof at this point. So let's roll on.
All right, let's roll on. Nationals Braves next on our board here. We have, let's see here. I have to go back to full game money lines here instead of first half. So I was looking at the movement there, but we've got Forrest, a.k.a. Foster Griffin, a.k.a. the UFC fighter versus Reynaldo Lopez. Now this line has come down a little bit. Some respect for Mr. Griffin. Minus 145 opener. It's now minus 132. It did get down to minus 125 at one point, which is really interesting, but it comes back up to minus 132. Heritage minus 136 right now. They had minus 145 opener and didn't get down to that minus 125. So that's fascinating. I mean, this movement is interesting because even Bovada has minus 143 openers down at minus 140 and minus, where are we, 135 now. No splits yet money wise here, but that's a very fascinating trickle down, thinking that Foster Griffin can get the job done here. I didn't have any action, but it seems like it might be Nationals team total or pass for me. What do you think?
Well, first off, we predicted that there'd be U-shaped movement, that the line had moved too far. So this morning, or at least an hour and a half ago, when I looked at this again, I was like, okay, we were right. Because it went from plus 131 all the way down to plus 113. It was plus 115 when we did the show. So we saw this big move towards the Nats, and I thought it would come back. I saw plus 125 this morning. And then I guess at 8:17 a.m., it went to plus 122. Right now it's sitting at plus 120. So I believe in this move. I do not want to fade Reynaldo Lopez. He's just, of course we didn't see him last year, but in 2024 he was lights out. He's showing that this is something that we should expect from him as we move forward. That last start was a little more difficult for him at home over the Marlins. We've seen him on the road now twice, and he's been very good. 9 2/3 combined, so not going deep, but 7 hits, 1 earned run. 10 Ks, 3 walks. I think this move towards Foster Griffin is very, very legitimate. So I think the next question is, the Nats should be more expensive first 5 than they are full game. Now, we know that their bullpen is very, very weak, so that would add to this. So it should be quite a bit more expensive. Let's say that. So let's go over to Penny and see what difference we have here with the first half and the full game. I do think that will help tell this story. So let me just quickly grab this for the Nats Braves. Sorry, here we go. Let's go to America. Here we go. Okay. Nats Braves. We have they're at plus 119. Wow, it's moving back towards the Nats. And then first 5, they're plus 105. So look, I should be on this already. I should have come into the show with this. I'm going to heed the books' advice here. Unfortunately, I'll say it again, I don't want to fade Reynaldo Lopez. And then if the books are telling us that you're going to get, now, of course, we haven't seen a ton of Griffin. He's come over from Yomiuri, Japan. He's a 30-year-old rookie. He's coming off a 7 strikeout start that is a career high in strikeouts. But I kind of want, if they're telling me Griffin's going to have a good start, I mean, why would Ronaldo Lopez not have a good start? So let's take a look at the expectation here over at Ballpark Pal for Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. And it is minus 7% runs, minus 22% homers, a plus 1% doubles and triples, and plus 5% doubles and triples. Now, this is also the spot where we've already heard from Morgan Spooner that he is on the over 8.5, and he cashed with it yesterday, going back to the well. Now, I can cash a first 300, and he can cash the full game over. That won't get in the way of it because it's the bullpens that he's also attacking. Sharpie saying Iglesias just went to the IL. Yeah, that was spoken about yesterday on the show that was the expectation. He was going to be out for a little while. So, yes, I think it's the first 5 Nats for sure. And quite possibly a first 3 under as well. I'm going to sit with that for a little bit longer, Jose. So that's my plan. First 5 Nats for sure. First 3 under is a possibility. Let's roll on.
By the way, first 5 line opened up at minus 131 at Bet Online. Got down to minus 120, now minus 125 there. So I can see why you're on first 5 for sure. Same thing at Bovada, minus 145 opener, now down to minus 130 first 5. So I can see that. I like that look as well.
That's interesting you say that because it's minus 121. It's quite a bit lower here, Penny.
Wow.
It's a sharp book. So I like it. Maddie saying Nationals or nothing. And shout out to our guy, Kelly McKinson. Okay, let's roll on. I have a plan. The plan will be put into action.
All right. Next game on our slate, Red Sox, Yankees. We didn't get this series until quite a while last year. Now we're getting it a little bit earlier. Now, Jimmy. I always struggle with these games personally because I have a little bit of a bias towards the Boston Red Sox against the Yankees. I don't know if you guys in the chat know that. But we've got Connolly early versus Luis Gil, who I think is not a very good MLB pitcher in my personal opinion. Now, Jimmy, I will admit, this is not the game that I plan on making my bukus of money against the Yankees this series. It's when Cam Schittler is on the bump is who I will be fading when he gets up here. But this line is very interesting to me. I see a minus 117, minus 115 opener for the Boston Red Sox. Now minus 117 for the Red Sox here. At Bet Online, apparently this line has been moving all up and down. The Yankees were favored at one point, got down to even again, and flipped right back to the Red Sox being favored at minus 115. Bovada showing minus 121. That opened up at minus 116 Yankees, apparently. And as for Heritage here, they're showing minus 120. They opened up Boston minus 116 here. I don't think Luis Gil is good. I really think that the Red Sox, me personally, I didn't think they were going to be favored coming into this game. I expected minus 120, minus 130 New York Yankees. But this is Connolly Early, who went into Yankee Stadium and shoved a baseball right down their ass last time in the postseason. And I think he's confident. I think he's been the best pitcher on the Red Sox this whole year, which with a rotation features Garrett Crochet and Ranger Sanchez, or Ranger Suarez, I should say. Rangel, I should actually call him. But it's surprising. So I'm going to be on the Boston Red Sox here. Hopefully that's just not me being a biased piece of shit and actually liking the move here. But I like I said, I think this line is meant to get some Yankees money. Hopefully we'll get some wager talk numbers here soon. But the Red Sox are a highly bet team. So I'm on the Red Sox minus 120 full game money line to the surprise of nobody.
Wow. Also, usually if you're going to shove a baseball, it would be up somebody's ass unless they were on some kind of freaky, swing fuck device.
Connie Lily likes to get freaky.
This initial move was pretty heavy towards the Yankees, and it's come back, which I get, can give you a ton of confidence if you are on the Red Sox. That early move so strong towards Luis Gil didn't make sense to me. And as you said, it made sense to you. but it didn't make sense that it would move so quickly towards heel. And for me, it messed me up. And it was there for quite a while. If I had conviction, and look, I faded heel against Kohanowitz in the last start, and heel did exactly what I wanted him to do, and I didn't win the bet. I lost the game 5-4. And here, I'm going to stay off of this spot. That move to heel, I have to respect. That, in my opinion, is pretty sharp action. Now, the books have obviously shown some concern with the Red Sox money coming in and moved it back. We've seen a move towards the under, a 15-cent move towards the under when the line first became available. And then it's not moved. It's not moved now for almost, God, we're almost at 20. It's 22 hours this line's not moved.
Yeah, I think this line should be Yankees minus 130, especially with the Red Sox bullpen that everybody got used yesterday because Sonny Gray tweaked his hamstring and is on the IL now. Everybody got used. Araldis, Garrett Weiser, Whitlock, Danny Coulomb, Zach Kelly. And by the way, that's how you say that name, Danny Coulomb. Didn't know. Been calling him the randomest things for the last few years. So shout out to Danny Coulomb. Zach Kelly, Giovanni Moran, Ryan Watson on a back-to-back. Only guy that didn't go, Jack Anderson, a Rule 5 guy that threw 41 pitches the day before. So let's ride.
I'm going to cheer for you, my friend. Please add it to the action on this on our ticker below. But I am off of this game. This one is a tough one, and I was uncomfortable with it from that initial move to heel. The fact that it's come back doesn't give me the conviction to say that Connolly Early is going to slice him and dice him. With the bullpen exhaustion, why aren't you on the first 5?
Probably should be, but the fact that it's the full game line that's moving, the full game line that didn't make sense to me is why how I'm justifying it in my head. Now I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong.
No, but that's fair.
First 5 line, just looking at the movement, minus 115 opener. It got up to minus 117 or minus 118 at Bovada. And same thing with this line, by the way. It flips minus 115, I believe, here, and then comes right back. It flips to the Yankees minus 115 and flips back with all that line movement. Wow, Jimmy, I just refreshed.
Yeah.
Red Sox minus 140 now.
What?
Is that real life? First 5? Because first 5 minus 140? Let me refresh again here. Now I'm on full game again. It's still minus 117, but if Red Sox first 5,
it is
minus 1. I mean, okay. Well, now I have to bet both. That's absurd. Minus 140, and I get the price difference is probably just bullpen exhaustion, maybe, but. I mean, come on.
Wow. That is fascinating. I'm going to pull up. So, yes, it's very, very legit. I see a 19-cent difference at Pinnacle from 114 to 133. So it's very, very legit. The Yankees are not hitting lefties at all. This should likely be a very difficult situation for them. And I guess my thoughts are changing with the books becoming so concerned here. With the Boston Red Sox and the money coming in on the Boston Red Sox and the money coming in on the Boston Red Sox first 5.
I took both officially. Minus 140 for first 5 because I'm a juicy bitch, as Pete Loshak would say.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Huh?
Not just Pete Loshak. Walking down the streets of San Antonio, I heard many people saying, there's that juicy bitch. That juicy bitch. Mama, that juicy bitch.
Yes, sir. Don't forget, Jimmy. Don't forget. I did have a random person say, "Damn, baby, you got a fat ass" to me recently. So that was nice.
Supposedly.
That was a nice confidence.
Let's roll on. Twinkies Mets here. I took a lot of flack for this last night. I took a lot of flack.
With one man, Sean Higgs.
Let's roll.
Shawnee Higgs. We've got Mets versus the Twins here. The Twins in free fall, but Jimmy says, I will catch this falling knife. Minus 155 is all the way up to minus 173, minus 180 at some books here. Nolan McLean I agree with Jimmy's sentiment. I think he's real deal. I think he's a really good pitcher, a young pitcher that I look forward to backing throughout the years, hopefully. And Simeon Woods Richardson, probably the opposite of how I feel about Nolan McLean. Simeon Woods Richardson, another very young pitcher, even though it feels like he's been in the league for already 10 years. He's pitched pretty decently. I mean, it's the opposite of the starts that the other guys had. I forget who had the bad starts to start. It was Dustin May and Chris Paddock. It's the exact opposite of that. He has his first 2 starts, 1 earned run, 2 earned runs against the Royals and Rays. Not bad teams, but not good teams necessarily. And then he faces a Red Sox team who sucks at hitting, gives up 7 runs, 6 earned. And then Toronto, a pretty decent hitting team. It depends on what year, part of the year, I guess we're talking about here. But those are 2 last place teams, and they hit 5 earned runs against them, against him too. So it's kind of confusing. It'll keep me off. Metropolitans, by the way, against right-handed pitching in the last 21 days will not inspire confidence. 74 weighted runs created plus. Minnesota at 102. Minnesota against lefties, I'll bet him. Minnesota against righties, I'll probably stay off and watch. But no action here for me, Jimmy. Regale us, please. Regale us.
You know, I understand the sentiment of backing a team this big of a favorite that's lost 11 straight games. It sounds insane. I understand why Justin McKelvey is on the run line, because if you're going to back a team that's lost 11 straight games, you should, have a nice plus sign there and be richly rewarded. TJ says, in his opinion, if you're backing the Mets, do it by betting the under, not taking the Mets. This is all very, very legitimate. I am not heeding anybody's advice.
Tomatoes. Here. Everyone's throwing tomatoes at you while you cash with the Mets, hopefully, today.
Everybody has legitimate gripes as to how I've handled this baseball game. And maybe I'm setting myself up for disaster. A lot of talk about moving on the under. The 7.5 hasn't moved off of that line. It is, a very low pressure situation in weather-wise for Citi Field. Minus 18% runs, minus 26% home runs, minus 23% doubles and triples, minus 2% singles. So maybe this is the perfect opportunity here for a bounce-back performance from Simeon Woods Richardson. But if he gets touched up early, the Twins bullpen's trash, 5.07 ERA, 1.62 whip. And the Mets bullpen's been really bad over the last 2 weeks, really bad. So I can understand everything. But I am simply going to bet the New York Mets. And if they can get a lead and get some confidence, maybe the sticks can start working. Simeon Woods Richardson, with a ton of velocity is you're able, even with this weather situation, I think you can put string hits together. So look, I get it, but I'm on the first 5 minus a half, minus 120, the full game -1 at minus 115. I got that with the money line minus 165 at Bet Online and the run line at plus 130, and I'm in business here. I understand everybody's concerns. We'll see how this all plays out, but I've doubled down on the Mets. Jose, let's roll.
All right, let's roll on. Cubs, Phillies, good game, good series here incoming. We've got, Luzardo versus Imanaga, and wow, what a line movement here. Jimmy, I forget what the line was last night when we were talking about it, but Bet Online says this opened up minus 150, minus 130-ish. Here, I'm going to go to another book real quick because that opener is a lot bigger than everyone else's here. Minus 120 is what I'm seeing kind of around the boards here. Minus 121 at Heritage is now minus 120 there. Bookmaker, same thing with Bovada. So I'm not going to really heed that minus 150. I'm going to believe that minus 127 that is right after it and has come down to minus 115. So maybe not as dramatic as a minus 150 to minus 115, but a minus 130 to minus 115 to the Philadelphia Phillies here. And good news, the Wager Talk board is officially up, so it's nice to see that. Real quick, we have Phillies Cubs here. 76% of the bets on the Cubs and 52% of the money on the Phillies. And it makes me feel like we've got to back the Phillies here.
I mean, the books have been telling us that we've needed to do that, for what, 24 hours? I've still been very hesitant to do so. We have even money, 0% change with the combined effect of stadium and weather here at Wrigley. Plus 13% homers, minus 9% doubles and triples, minus 4% singles. Our guy Deacon Mike is on the homer prop over 2.5 home runs in this game at plus 110. Wind blowing out to right center at 10 miles per hour.
Shout out to Deacon, man. I've been looking for that offered at other places and just cannot find it. So shout out to you, Deacon. I think about you every time when I see that wind blowing.
Wow, we're not gonna cut that 12-second clip, but it's certainly.
You don't like what I think about Deacon?
With the wind blowing through his hair, is that it? Yeah. Here in this spot, I mean, obviously the idea here is that we should heed the book's advice. Did we skip the Orioles-Royals game? Oh, that's next. Okay. Obviously we should heed the book's advice, and it's just wild. I mean, here you have a pitcher, Luzardo, in his last 10 innings. He's allowed 13 earned runs, 17 hits, walked 7 batters. Both of those starts were at home. He's had one start this year on the road, and he delivered. AM saying wind blowing out in the Managa strong fly ball profile. There's Midwest Margins in the house. That's our guy, Lucas Ryan, Midwest Margins. Jose, if you could pop Midwest Margins X handle in the chat so we can help build it. He's building his new X handle, Midwest Margins, and he's giving away $25 to one of his first 100 followers. So $25 to one of his first 100 followers for our friend Lucas Ryan and Midwest Margins, part of our family, Pub Sports Radio. So please support Midwest Margins. Let me know if you need that sent to you as well. I'm following Midwest Margins, not for the $25, but for the possibility of more money coming in listening to his. There it is right there, Midwest_Margins right there. Jose, if you could put it in the chat so that they can hit that link. But here, look, I guess we should just listen. The thing is the Phillies are hitting 179, 552 OPS versus lefties. And Stimmy OG being blindly taking the Nats games over 16-7. Yeah, Spooner was just saying he's 6-1 in those Nats overs. So Stimmy, it's very smart move by both of you, gentlemen. So we've got to expect that all of a sudden, because of it's the wind's blowing out and we have a fly ball pitcher on the mound, that the Phillies will start hitting lefties. We've had a 10-cent move to the over. I don't know if that's enough for me, but I guess that we should just heed the advice. I thought that this would be one of those spots where we would get some buyback. And we did at one point when this went down to plus 104 right after the show started last night on Nightly Bag. Then it came back. I saw it back 4 cents to plus 108 when I woke up this morning. Now it's sitting at plus 105. What can you hit me again with the cash flow on the side?
Sure. By the way, looking at the props, because I was looking through just trying to find my boy Deacon's prop there. No earn run prop for Shota Imanaga right now. Very interesting. 76% of the bets on the Cubs and 52% of the money on the Phillies. So a lot of bets on the Cubs, not as much money on the Philly or on the Cubs there. By the way, I'm going to make some quick additions just going through the market here after this game. So just everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say if you could talk about some of the market spots that shocked you. So I think the Phillies are this spot, man. And the prop is listed on DraftKings for the home runs in the game. DraftKings, if anybody's looking to rock with Deacon. Deacon was hammering this at Bovada before they just shut it down. And
really?
They shut down home run props over there. And when the book stops offering something like first 5 team totals, for instance, when the book starts offering, because they know they were getting beaten on it. And shout out to Justin and Matty Ice for supporting our friend Lucas Ryan. I think the Phillies should be bet here. I think I must heed the advice of the books here. And I guess I can understand the idea behind it, so I will trust them. Of course, these pitchers just met, right? They just met. 11-2 victory for the Cubbies, and that was the game where the Phillies were like about minus 130, minus 132, minus 135, and TJ said, do not bet them. They're too expensive. And then, of course, they get smacked up. So, Jose, let's take a second here, and we got to be tight for the rest of the card, but tell us about your thoughts on And Spooner says Cubs bullpen scares me. I think their bets get to Luzardo early. Are you on the over on this one, Spoons? Because
By the way, I bet Phillies in this game. How hard is that wind blowing again?
he's
Because obviously
10 miles per hour here, but I'll take a look here as well and see.
I'd love if that total was 13 and a half or whatever it is. That's how the wind's really going. But I'm still on the Phillies here, full game.
Yeah, it is in the afternoon blowing heavy. It's 17 miles per hour. It just dies down by game time. Gets down to about between 9 and 8 miles per hour. And there's light rain in the afternoon. Jose, please review the spots that you want to attack.
Yeah, let's start with the Dustin May Chris Paddock game. There's 60% of the bets and 65% of the money on Dustin May and company. Just so you guys know, I already bet the Marlins first 5, so just want to keep you guys a titty of that. By the way, I said that to Helga recently. She had no idea what I was talking about. I am going to move on the Nationals with you, Jimmy. 78% of the bets, 89% of the money on the Atlanta Braves in this game. Line's just moving towards towards the Nationals. So I'll join you. I don't know if I'm going to be first 5 full game yet. I'll double check and see what the line movements have done and see what line is moving where, but I'll probably be on full game as of right now, but we'll see. Parker Weiss, 70% of the bets, 50% of the money on him. 50-50 ticket split in Red Sox Yankees. 64% of the money is on the Yankees, though. It doesn't necessarily make me feel better or worse, but just a heads up there. In that Corbin Burns, Steven Matz start, the line moving towards Burns. There's 53% of the bets on the Rays, but 84% of the money on Burns. I think I just called him Corbin Burns again, but whatever. And as of now, that is it. I think those are all the games we've covered. We'll keep talking about the line movement, but Braves Nationals is definitely the line, the bet percentage spot where it makes me feel a lot better betting on the Nats. So I'm going to be on them here with you.
Yeah, I like it. Nice breakdown, concise, fast. Let's roll on.
Let's roll to we're on Orioles Royals now here,
Yes.
and what an interesting game this was yesterday. Sorry to any underbetters out there because I know a few of them, but the over comes through here for the guys here in an extra inning effort. Bubic versus Boz on the bump here, and the two pitchers that we have found to be interesting throughout the years. 57% of the bets and 52% of the money. Well, excuse me, that's just changed. 52% of the money on the Orioles and 57% of the bets on the Royals there. So that's fascinating there. As for where we've moved to, minus 120 to minus 125 at Bet Online. Got down to minus 119 and minus 127, but it's stabilized there. Bovada minus 133 openers, now minus 130. So we really haven't had too much movement in this game. Jimmy, what do you think?
I expect to back Bubic in every home start this season until I feel like that doesn't make sense. I really want to back Bubic after a bad road start. And I think we're getting everything here. 4 2/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs at the Tigers. He opened the season with 3 starts at home, and he was incredible. 18 innings. Well, there was the 5 earned runs because 4 came at home versus the Brewers. 8 strikeouts, 3 walks. So look, he did struggle in that second start against the Brewers, and he's not gone up against the toughest lineups. I should preface that as well, but I do believe we have an advantage here. We also have Spooner moving on the Cubs Phillies over 8 here. BT says thanks for the birthday banger yesterday, my guy. Oh man, it felt so right after that 6-1 loss, and I was thinking of you, my friend. Great hanging with you in San Antonio. Wish we had more time. We did not get enough BT at Pub 5.
We never do. He's just like a ghost. He comes, and then suddenly he's gone, and you'll never see him again. But shout out to BT. I agree.
Ghost doesn't bring. BT's got such great energy about him, man. He brings the party with him. He brings the.
Yep.
He's
we learned a lot about BT too. Former NFLer as well. You love a cleat chasing, Jimmy. So that got you going. I know that.
Okay, we don't have time for this. We got to keep moving. But look, I'm backing Bubic, man. That's my Bubic, and I'm on him, and I expect him to deliver for me at home. Boz is capable, of course, of elite stuff. He just doesn't seem to deliver it. Whether or not he will be able to, as we move forward, we'll see. TC says, hard to see the O's winning after last night, but will Boz just keep sucking? If you could throw up the Wizard of Boz pick, I know we don't have the Rays. We have him in the Rays hat. We'll get him in the Charm City hat because that works for the Wizard of Boz, right? Charm City. That works for the Wizard of Boz. But look, I doubled down on Bubic, man. I doubled down on Bubic. I'm on Royals first 5. It was minus 130. It was expensive. And then full game minus 125. And I'm in. So we can roll on, my man.
All right. Let's roll on to a game that might not have pitchers. Jimmy, can you tell me who is starting for the Pirates? I think it's Blazinski and Rocker.
It must not be.
Because that's what I was assuming because we don't have lines at like DraftKings seemingly. But
now they have Majinski and Rocker listed. It was so strange. Very, very strange. So now Majinski and Rocker are both listed. That was the expectation. We weren't able to bet it because we were waiting for it to be legitimized. I want to back both these pitchers, but I back Majinski every start. So it's going to be a Pirates situation for me, which then would require a Pirates first 5 instead of a full game. That would also require the Pirates to be more expensive first 5 than they are full game. I want to back unders in this spot as well. So let's just see exactly what it is here because it's now up on available to bet. Right now, full game Pirates. So it opened up at plus 104 at Bet Online, but it wasn't available to other books. And I wanted to get a sense of what the hell was going on in the game. So it's a plus 100 over at Penny. And then first half, the Pirates are just minus 101. And I think that what I'm going to say, and TC's play of the day is the Pirates plus 100. I think that it's telling us that, and AM says I still see mixed signals on who's confirmed. If I put this in at 365 my local, I lock in pitchers. That argument is over. If I was destroying him, I might not have won the argument, but it's not been a great year thus far. Now we can change that, and I also haven't sent in my futures. I don't even know if he knows what's about to happen. I'm not going to tell him.
Doesn't even know what's about to happen.
I'm not going to tell him.
That's interesting. He doesn't know what your futures are.
I don't know if he does. Like he may. You never. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's. But here for me, look, so AM says it looks like Majinski, but Rocker not confirmed. Majinski and Rocker are listed on ESPN. Papa Ricky on the Pirates first 5. So my expectation will be as follows. The Rangers bullpen's very strong. If this market does move towards Rocker, it's going to tell me that Rocker is ready now to have a nice start. And he did make that 5th spot in the Texas Rangers rotation through spring training. It just wasn't until the 8th game before they needed the 5th spot in the rotation. So that's why, his first start was delayed till Saturday, April 4th. He looked great in that start. He didn't. I thought he looked fine in that wind-aidled Sacramento game. Our guy Spooner cashed on the over. That the wind was a mess and it was stopping home runs from being hit, but not from hits and from difficulty catching easy fly balls. And it was a very, very sharp move by Mr. Morgan Spooner to be on that over. It was a world on the under and Spooner on the over, and Spooner got the bag. I think he's ready to have a really real quality start. Again, when you're talking about somebody like Kumar Rocker with a 5.74 ERA and 1.46 whip last year, again, we're talking about maybe betting a big favorite that's lost 11 straight games. So I can understand the similarities, but I want some confirmations. I want the market to marinate a little bit. The plan will be Pirates first 5, first 3 under, and full game under. But that will be the plan, and I will hopefully execute it after the show. Let's roll on.
All right, let's roll on here to Padres Rockies. Another game that I kind of saw some pitching, like some books not listing some pitcher, or listing this game, I should say, because of whatever reason. Randy Vasquez versus who knows as of right now. So that makes it a little more difficult. And by the way, Wager Talk, where we look at our splits, has Mlodzinski listed, but not Rocker listed. So maybe it's that.
It must be that.
We'll see. I think it's kind of the same thing with the Rockies here. Don't know who's starting for the Rockies. Randy Vasquez has pitched pretty well, though. So shout out to him. There are, as of right now, we have 78% of the bets and 87% of the bets and 73% of the money on the Padres.
Well, we expect Chase Dollander to be the primary. Shout out to our guy Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Very excited about this news of shows every day throughout the week from Dutch Boy Fresh and Dabby Cab over on Pub Culture TV. I can't wait till it's announced. I don't know the whole situation, so I haven't spoken with Dutch about it, so I'm just gonna kind of not say anything. But I'm looking forward to promote it because those guys are so much fun and they're magic together and great cappers and cap so differently. They're just it's fun, man. So here, if I guess the issue is we don't know who the Rockies opener is going to be, and it's going to be Chase Dollander versus Randy Vasquez, two pitchers that I'm a Dollander fan. I've been one, since he was picked sixth overall in what could be considered a questionable draft class. When we go to Coors right now, it's plus 23% runs, plus 27% homers, plus 11% doubles and triples, and plus 12% singles. If we go to weather only, though, it tells a very different story. Minus 8% runs, plus 6% homers, minus 18% doubles and triples, minus 3% singles. So I want the confirmations, and I want to study the game quite a bit more, and I will do that. I will do exactly that. So I'm interested if it is. They're waiting for the opener. It is going to be Dollander and Vasquez. I don't see why these pitchers can't be okay here. Both bullpens are trustworthy. We haven't said that about the Rockies bullpen in years. So we'll keep moving forward, but I may be involved in this. Let's roll on.
Let's roll on to the Wine Time and Jimmy the Bag Bowl. Blue Jays, Angels. Kohanowitz versus old Patrick Corbin, who... he didn't get us in the tank last week, Jimmy. He tried. He tried. He was looking, but I got out with a push. Jimmy got his 2-1 victory, a full game. I remember it very vividly because I was very nervous. I was like, is this guy really going to do this to us? But here we are again, him coming off of a very good performance. 75% of the bets, 86% of the money on Patrick Corbin. No respect for Jack Kohanowitz here. Line really has not moved much, though. Really has not moved much. Minus 112 opener. It gets down to minus 105 either way, and then it comes right back up to the Angels again. I'm sure Wine Time is on his Angels. I feel like I want to be on the Angels at this point. Bookmaker had minus 106 each way opener, and it's now minus 115 Angels. Heritage minus 118 Angels opener is now minus 115. I just feel like the Angels are the spot here. What do you think?
I find this game extremely difficult. Corbin's looked really good. TJ moved on the under 9.5, placed it last night, says it's his favorite MLB look. What is the total? Can you give me the movement on the total right now if you have it up?
Sure. The splits here real quick. 67% of the bets on the under, 54% of the money on the over in this game. And as for where this has moved, I see a 9 minus 120 to the over. It's now minus 115 to the over at Bet Online. So not much movement.
It's minus 4% runs at Angel Stadium today, minus 3% homers. This is combined effect, minus 10% doubles and triples, and plus 5% singles. So I just find this is extremely difficult. I'm a Kohanowitz guy, and what we're seeing from Patrick Corbin is a pitcher proving that he belongs in Major League Baseball and playing pretty well. Matty Ice says they're 7 for 47 versus Corbin, Soler, Trout, and Adele. But Nato, has a 1.409 OPS versus Corbin and an 11 at bats. The Angels are hitting lefties, 236, 753 OPS, and the Jays aren't hitting righties yet, 256, 98 OPS. I say yet, they are dealing with a ton of injuries. Maybe yet won't happen. And the bullpens looked pretty good.
I was about to ask you, what do you think of the Angels bullpen? Because I'm just debating whether first 5 full game is my move on the Angels.
Well,
First 5 minus 125, by the way, full game minus 115.
Last night, Sandlin wasn't used. Sorry, Silseth and Anderson were used last night. The bullpen is looks like it's in pretty good condition here, and you can't say that about the Jays bullpen. Hoffman was used last night. Fisher's gone back to back, not with a ton of pitches. Louis Varland was used last night. Tyler Rogers was used last night. Not a terrible situation, but.
By the way, Hoffman stinks. The Angels, they are the Angels. The Blue Jays are just on a line of crappy closes right now. Ugh.
Well, they're going to get to meet their old friend Romano as well. Papa Ricky says Angels struck out 18 times yesterday. You know, I find the Yankees Red Sox game in this game very, very difficult, but I do think that both these pitchers are going to deliver here early. So if now I don't know if we should expect these bullpens to be good, and they were good last night. So I guess that kind of leads me towards the first 3 under. I'm interested in TJ's under. Will that just be a first 3 under? And I think I leave the side alone. Right now, Kohanowitz is more expensive first 5. But I mean, that's very explainable. He's only 5 cents more expensive. So that's very explainable that, you know, when the numbers are punched in for Corbin, it's not a positive situation. So I'm going to, and there's the Goracle in the house as Kelvin Escobar was better. Gorky, I had no dog in the fight. I mean, I did bet the Oilers live, which I think we have to do every chance we get throughout the whole playoffs for as long as Draisaitl and McDavid are on the team. But I didn't care about my live bet. I really was. You're plus 145 and your breakdown, and it was a tough break for you. I was thinking about you last night, Gorky, my friend. You deserved better on that one. You deserved a better fate. I'm going to spend some more time on this, but TJ's under is noted. Would that lead me to a first 3 under? It's possible. So let's and Jose, where are you leaning on this one?
Me and Wine Time are going to be arm in arm today. The Anaheim. Not Los Angeles, the Anaheim Angels. I'm doubling up. First 5 and full game, minus 115.
And what is the number one angle? If I say, okay, what's the main point of you fading the Blue Jays here?
The Angels in the last 14 days, to be specific, the 7th through the 21st, they are 4th best amongst teams against hitting lefties, 161 plate appearances, 137 weighted runs created plus for the Angels. I will continue to not believe that Patrick Corbin is as good as he is pitching now. And I think...
Do you think 4 games with a short porch in right field for left-handed bats in New York skews those numbers to some extent, but not too much?
Maybe. You could be right about that. Let's tell you all of the Angels lefties that they faced recently. And I, by the way, only put starters because that's who I really care about here. Max Fried, 5 1/3, 5 earned runs on 1 home run. Ryan Weathers, 5 innings, 5 earned runs on 4 home runs.
What if we cut that short porch?
Andrew Abbott, 3 innings, 7 earned runs. Brandon Williamson, 4 innings, 3 earned runs. Chris Sale, 4 innings, 6 earned runs.
Okay, no, that's legit. That's all legit. That's all very legit.
And by the way, those last 2, at least the Chris Sale start wasn't in my split because I had it from the 7th through the 21st. That Sale start was on the 6th and the Williamson on the 11th.
Now that's fair. Now the Twins were hitting lefties hard. They got to Corbin. What are the Brewers' numbers out of curiosity against left-handed batters season long?
Season long here. Let's go to
weighted runs created against lefties.
From the 24th of March, and where are the Brewers here? They are 24th, 74 weighted runs created plus, 250 plate appearances.
And so he shut them down. Okay, lots of food for thought here. Let's roll on, Jose, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I doubled up first 5 full game. Should be very interesting to say the least. Next, White Sox Diamondbacks. To keep it a little more brief than that long breakdown here, we have 85% of the bets, 89% of the money on Arizona here. And yet the people believe, and the people's goalie, Sean Burke, minus 165 is now minus 150 for the White Sox here. And I heard what you said yesterday. We might have been right. We might have jumped on the train a little early on Sean Burke, but damn it, I believe in the man. And I think he pitches decently today. What do you think?
Well, I have first 3 under. The roof is open. So it's going to be open for night games and closed for afternoon games until the night games just become too hot. And Ronnie Lofton can let us know how that bangs out here. We've had a move towards the under now. It wasn't the case. It was the case. There has been a 10-cent move, but we saw by the time we got to this game that there'd been a move right back to the over. Now we're back again to a 10-cent move towards the under over at Bet Online. And we go to the expectation at Chase Field. It's plus 8% runs, plus 3% homers, plus 15% doubles and triples, plus 2% singles. And we have an elevated number here. Diamondbacks over 9 for Justin McKelvey. Diamondbacks over 9 for White Sox. Diamondbacks over 9 for AM as well. And Mr. Heat says Burke might get smacked up. Says he's not sure with what we've seen from Burke. It's not like Burke's been bad, really, because he had 2 good starts, both at home over the Blue Jays and then at the Braves, or home over the Braves, excuse me. And then he got touched up by the Rays in a situation where I expected him to be pretty good. Ricky Levine here is on the White Sox, first 5. These teams aren't hitting righties at all. We know the Diamondbacks are raking lefties, but not hitting righties. You could say something somewhat similar about the White Sox. At least they're hitting lefties harder. And Merrill Kelly, after his first start, will he be better? And AM is expecting these numbers to have some positive regression or progression. I hate saying positive regression. Matty I says he's on the Diamondbacks and the under. Expect both pitchers to shove here. So the first 3 under is interesting. And if we could maybe get a few more sense of movement over towards the under, I'll line shop after the show. Then I think I get there. Because I don't want to back the White Sox bullpen. Arizona bullpen has been pretty good. So first 3 under. I also think that with the way we trust the Diamondbacks bats at this point, especially in clutch situations, that the Diamondbacks are a live bet team when they're down, and White Sox are, of course, a fade when they're up. Now, you don't get the same kind of cash reward, risk reward when you fade the White Sox when they're up. But first 3 under for me here at this point, Jose. Let's roll on. We got to be tight.
A's Mariners next on our board here. And I know you're kicking yourself after that Emerson Hancock performance. Shout out to him.
No, they lost.
Did they end up losing? Oh, my God.
They lost. And yeah.
Oh,
it was good to follow the market there. Trust the market. The line was moving towards the over. It was telling us there was volatility. I should have just bet the over. But sorry, keep going.
No worries. I thought Emerson.
I was lamenting it during the show, but there was no need for that.
Well, Joey Lopez versus Luis Castillo. I'm seeing 7 cents of movement, minus 150 to minus 157 at Bet Online. Heritage has minus 166 opener. Where it is now, it's minus 164 opener. Got up to minus 170. There we have 53% of the bets on Luis Castillo, but 82% of the money on the A's here.
And how much has the line moved?
It really hasn't moved much here. There is 7 cents of movement right now at Bet Online, minus 150 opener to minus 157.
We have the stacks play the day in business here. It is the over 7.5 and minus 110 for our guy Justin McKelvey.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
So with this spot, I have moved on Castillo, expecting, or at least I felt like the books were implying that we were going to get a bounce back performance. I'm also a little concerned that I'm selling Jacob Lopez short. But at this point, both these pitchers have not looked good. And then Lopez looked pretty good in difficult weather situations on Thursday in the tricky wind over in Sacramento. I'm backing Castillo here. I'm on Castillo, and I'm also backing the Mariners bullpen. The Mariners have not hit lefties at all. They haven't hit him at all. And so, I mean, we've seen some books kind of hint at a move to the over, but here we've seen this go from 8 to 7.5. This is the type of under that always has appealed to me. You have two pitchers with terrible gas can numbers, and then the line dips, opening up their arms to over money. And T-Mobile Park roof will be open, and minus 10% runs, plus 9% home runs, minus 30% doubles and triples, minus 4% singles. I don't know if I can get there on the under. But the Mariners simply aren't hitting lefties. Lopez, there's no reason why Lopez can't have a good start. Am I going to suspend my disbelief and pretend Luis Castillo is still 28 years old and one of the best pitchers in baseball? Because that's not the case anymore. And he's not that old, though. I think he's 32 now. But historically, I've done okay with these unders when the market moves towards the unders and there's two pitchers with a smaller sample size, and that small sample size says they're gas cans. So I am on the Mariners full game, and I might move on the under. I'm going to need to think about it a little more. Let's roll on.
Okay. Let's go to our final baseball game. Dodgers Giants here. Gets the blood flowing over there, I'm sure. Landon Roop versus Yamamoto here. And you guys all know how I feel about the Dodgers. I think they're excellent. Well, not excellent, but I think they're a team that could be bet against throughout the regular season. Because I just, at the end of the day, I don't think they don't put their 100% effort into the regular season, and then playoffs come and they get much more serious. 90% of the bets, 66% of the money on Los Dodgers here. They opened up at minus 210, 290 at Bet Online here. It is now down to minus 174. Bovada opened at minus 208, Stab minus 188, and same thing here with Heritage. They opened up at minus 205. It is now minus 182. We have talked about Landon Roop on this program a lot. I do need to just go ahead and add him to Jimmy's rotation right now. But I think he could get the job done for us here. First 5-ish. If I had opportunities for first 3-ish, I definitely would take it.
It's too expensive at 365. First 3 plus halves minus 140.
Well, there you go. I can see why. I just think that Landon Roop can go pitch for pitch with Yamamoto. Now, bullpen wise, we'll see. I haven't looked at the bullpen usage yet, but I think that each of these pitchers could go pitch for each other, especially because Roop is, I think, and I think this is obvious that Roop and the Giants will care significantly more than the Dodgers will about this game. And for Yamamoto, this is just another start in the regular season on their way to the playoffs. For Landon Roop, this is World Series-esque for him. Playing against the rival team at home, defending champions, the best pitcher in baseball, arguably, and Yamamoto after his performance in the postseason, the whole thing. So I just think Landon Roop's going to be very amped for this game. Jimmy, what do you think?
I'm very hesitant to bet this. I'm very hesitant to fade the Dodgers at all times. And my ROI fading the Dodgers is negative, and my ROI backing them is positive. Papa Ricky said it's going to be a chilly night in San Francisco after rain all day. He is on the under. Chilly night, but okay weather-wise for Oracle. It's minus 6% runs, minus 25% homers, plus 8% doubles and triples, plus 5% singles. We have high pressure and the wind blowing out, but it's blowing out to the deepest part of the park. Jerry Davis also told us on the nightly bag that he moved on the under 8. He said strong pitching and Dodgers bats being in chorus for 4 days. I had expected to be on the Giants first 3 plus a half. It was just too expensive when it first became available. In saying that, what I would like to bet would be the TJ special, Giants first 5 plus a half, the first 3 under and the full game under. Shout out to our guy, Not Flush Allen, and he fades the Dodgers to the Giants every time after they play each other. So I'm very interested in that here. And Matty Ice, his wind report can be thrown out because it is in the deep part of the field, and it's written in the ballpark's quick write up on the top of for each day. It's that not the it's same similar statement from Matty Ice. So first 300 full game under, first 5+1/2. Honestly, from a gambling standpoint, I'm gonna feel sick, regardless if I've had a good day or a bad day, knowing that I got 3 units on this baseball game coming up. Now I don't want. Look, we're not supposed to, scare money, don't make money, all that bullshit. But those would be the bets I would like to make. I think the first 3 under is the easiest to get to. You'd have to build a 2. I think that the full game under makes a lot of sense, and I think that the Giants battle. So those are all extremely appealing to me. I expect to bet this first 3 under fully. Do I also move on the full game under the first 5+1/2? Coin saying that there's are injuries to the Dodgers bullpen, but both bullpens have been quite good so far this year. So let's do a quick review of MLB. Jose, we got to be very, very tight here for NBA and NHL. So let's go 2 minutes a game for the rest of the card. I've got Mets first 5 -1/2 -120. Mets full game -1 at -115. Catching a falling knife. And I think I'm going to be rewarded. We shall see. Royals first 5 -130. Royals first full game -125. Mariners -1 at -120. Guardians first 5 -1/2 -115. Guardians money line at +1. Guardians -1 at +102. Cincinnati Tampa Bay first 300 2.5. Let's keep an eye on this one because any first 300 2.5 that's moved from -135 to -155 is undefeated so far this year. And then the full game under 7.5 -115 in that Reds Rays game. We're going to go over all of the action plays of the day at the very end of this show. So we're not going to go over their baseball action now. First 3 under, I have interest in Milwaukee, Detroit. The first 3 under, I have interest in St. Louis, Miami, but I will not make a move until I know what's going on with that roof. Although the roof being open does sort of help. We're going to have to take some more time on that. Then the Marlins will be bet as soon as the show is over. The first 5 Nats will be bet as soon as the show's over. The first 3 under is a possibility in that one. Staying off of Yankees, Red Sox, feeling just knots in my back as I talk about my action here. We've already doubled up on the Mets as we talked about. We've doubled up on the Royals as we've already talked about. As we roll on here, I think the Phillies have to be bet, and I will bet them after the game. I want some confirmation about Majinski and Rocker. If I get that, I think I should probably bet Majinski. You know what? I'm going to bet Majinski. I'm going to have to bet at 365 with the local and have it not, action for the Rangers pitcher. I think that's what I'll do. So I'll take Pirates first 5 with action on the Rangers pitcher, but Majinski must be listed. And then if in fact Rocker is getting the chance here, it'd be a first 3 under and a full game under as well. I'm interested in the under in Padres Rockies, but again, we want to see who's opening for Dollander. Then TJ's on the under in Jays Angels. That is appealing to me. We have Nasty Nate and AM on the Jays first 5. So if TJ's on the under, that first 3 under is appealing. We have Jose on the first 5 and full game for the Angels. I'm going to need more time on that one. The under in A's Mariners would have to be a full game here. I just can't really trust. Like it's one thing for me to say, look, we got these gas can numbers on the mound with Lopez and Castillo. We got Castillo coming back home where he should be able to deliver. We have Lopez going up against a team that's not hitting lefties, but still, it's a difficult thing to press the button at times. First 3 under in Chicago, Arizona. And then again, we talked about that triple up in Oracle, which I'll certainly be on the first 3 under. Do I add the full game under the first 5+1/2 as well? And AM says Majinski should be confirmed. Question is who's pitching for the Rangers. So then, Jose, take it away.
Yeah, a lot of action for me. It's funny because I hadn't put in a bet in the last 2 days because I hadn't been breaking it down with you. And I'm like a child. I need my safety blanket of Jimmy the Bag to get me through my action. But I've got a lot of action in here now. And it's funny. I'm sure you feel this way, Jimmy. When you feel really good about your action, it doesn't typically go well, but I feel great about my plays.
Isn't that so fucked up? I mean, it's just the more confident you are, the more
I feel great about my action today, and I've doubled up about it on a lot of them. But Jimmy, I added some bets that we'll talk about here now. Marlins first 5 -1/2, or excuse me, not -1/2, but just first 5 money line -115. Red Sox double up, first 5, -140, full game, -120. Full game, Phillies, even money. And I also texted my buddy, shout out to you, Deacon Mike. I got him to put in action for me. I'm on the over 2.5 home runs in the game at +110 on DraftKings. Shout out to you, Deacon, as well. I'll be thinking about that wind blowing through the hair. Shout out to you, Deacon. I am on Phillies. I talked about that. I'm on the Angels, doubled up here. Me and you, Wine Time Sports, me and you. Full game, -115. First half, -125. And I am doubling up on the San Francisco Giants to end my card here. Full game money line, +160. First 5, +0.5, -115.
Excellent work here. We have Salty Pete in the house. Now, going into yesterday's action, Salty Pete was leading our NHL playoff pool. Salty Pete is a nice-looking club. I expect him. I was going over the players. I expect him to be the first round leader. This has not been updated from yesterday. I'll reach out to our guy Swiggy and ask him to update it. But going into yesterday's action, Salty Pete in first, tied for second, Michael Hunter and Gorky, tied for fourth, Big Show, Rushia, and the Nuke Worker. Big Show has, though, picked Victor Hedman on defense. We don't know if Big Show had Darren Radish instead of Victor Hedman, I would think that he'd be in line. He's got a pretty good team. I expect if the Lightning roll that I will beat Big Show because of Radish over Hedman. But shout out to my man Big Show.
Remember last year when I picked like 4 defenders and like half of them didn't? Well, I picked 4 that didn't like play. 2 of them were hurt. The other 2 just didn't barely were in the rotation. I did pick a lot of defenders last year.
We've got to roll. We've got to roll quick. Let's roll through NBA and NHL. 2 games, 2 minutes a pop. Let's roll. Let's be fast. Let's be tight. Let's get it.
Celtics Sixers. The Celtics open up a can of whoop ass on the Sixers. Everyone has already crowned the Celtics to win the East. There's 78% of the bets, 95% of the money on the Celtics. If the Sixers have any heart, they'll make this a close game. 13.5. Got up to 14.5. Bookmaker has 14 here, Jimmy. What do you think?
Wow, Bookmaker is 14. Interesting. I said that the question here is, and look at that first period unders, 1.5 or 9-2 so far. Wow, Coin, that's incredible. Look, do we ditch the must back a team after a 30-point loss because of the playoffs? I don't have the proof. I don't have the proof of concept in the playoffs. I have not tracked it in the playoffs. In fact, I don't even remember going through it. I don't know why. I guess I just think the playoffs, I don't know.
Different animal.
But I would like to back the Sixers. The one thing I didn't want to have happen is I didn't want to take the plus 13.5 and show up here at 15.5 or show up at tip-off at 16.5. If I bet the Sixers, I'm going to wait until in 6:45 to bet it. Because you have to think that this late money will go on the Celtics, and we see these big favorites in the line move towards them. That was a dominant performance in Game 1, 123-91 victory. Brown goes for 26, 11-21. Tatum in 17th game since coming back from the ruptured Achilles tendon goes for 25, 9-17, adds 11 boards, 7 assists. The defense was spectacular. They hold the Sixers to 38.9% from the field, 17.4% from 3. 17.4% from 3. I mean, obviously, you can expect better shooting situation, even if the Celtics defense is spectacular. Boston's been great defensively all year. They held their opponents to 107.2 points per game. That was best in the league. They held their opponents to 44.2% from the field. That was second best in the league. But Maxey goes for 21. He can do more. He can give more. George goes for 17. The only other player in double digits was Edgecombe's 13. I don't know if, when Embiid is going to be back, but Bona and Drummond looked horrible. They looked so bad, man. Bona goes for 3 points. Drummond goes for 2. Now, obviously, it worked for Operation Garcia. And, they both got in early foul trouble with, I guess, messed with their head. And Edgecombe and Maxey missed a lot of shots that they didn't have to miss. So tell me you didn't just say that. I'm right with you. And I do think that the market will be very telling because 9.5 out of every $10 is going to be on the Celtics. So I said that. I was like, look, if it doesn't move and stays at 13.5 or 14, well, then I must bet them. And then if it moves to like 16.5 or 17, I guess I can question whether or not, but I feel like it still needs to be done. The other question here is, do we move on the under? The under is pretty appealing in this spot with the heightened defensive intensity from Boston. The thing is though that I am interested in the Sixers shooting the ball better. So that went down to 215.5. Now it's up to 216.5, but it's gone down here. And Von Polo says it was the same for the Cavaliers yesterday. Everybody was on the Cavaliers, and they covered by a half point, the closing line, VP. They covered by a half point. So, yeah, everybody was on the Cavs, and they covered by a half point. Does that mean it's going to happen again? Maybe. And there's nothing wrong with being on the Celtics, VP. I get it. But I expect to be here as one of me, and tell me you didn't just say that, sitting alone while there's, 50,000 people over there on the Celtics. So we'll see how it bangs out. But the Sixers interest me. And then maybe, honestly, maybe it's the Celtics team total under. I do not want to double down, though. So I'll have to make a decision around that. Jose, let's roll on.
I bet it's a weight off your shoulders not having to bet 80 player props.
Oh, God. It's the relief beyond comprehension. Like, it's just, it probably would have won yesterday, but.
But the emotional toll might not be worth it. Spurs versus the Trailblazers here. Our Spurs, Jimmy. They roll, they dominate, they look really good last game out. Wemby breaks the Spurs franchise record for points in a playoff debut. Sunshines and rainbows.
It's actually an NBA record for first half scoring in your playoff debut.
Well, there you go. Mr.
21.
Wembanyama, pretty good. Beating Tim Duncan's record, too, there as well when he's in the building. Not too bad. Yeah, the Spurs are the better team. We all kind of know this. I expect them to sweep this game, or I expect them to sweep this series. I don't really, for a Spurs futures-wise, I'm not, this isn't the games that I'm worried about here, obviously. They can beat these guys' asses, but when the Nuggets come a-calling, we'll see when the Spurs come how they react. But I expect them to roll in this game. But if there's any fight, again, in the Portland Trailblazers, it will be shown right here. I don't think their home advantage is going to be very fearsome. So I think that the Spurs can go into their building and smack them in the mouth. But after getting embarrassed, I'd love to see what the Trailblazers do. What do you think?
I'm excited about this game. It's another situation where the public is going to be very heavy on the Spurs. Shaden Sharp and Drew Holiday, they combined to go 8 of 28 from the field and 1 of 11 from 3. Portland shot 38 threes and connected on 26.3% of them. It is very possible what Chappie's saying, that the Spurs were a little tight and were a little nervous. Now, Wemby wasn't. I don't think the Spurs played great, but I do think the Blazers played badly. And I have interest in the Blazers. We have Justin on the Blazers plus 11.5. This is another spot where I'm going to wait until the very last minute to move, which I expect to do is to move on the Blazers. Now, this is a little bit of a different situation, and the different situation to me was that the Spurs didn't blow them out. I mean, they were in control all game long. There was no question who was going to win the basketball game. There was never a time when the Blazers were really menacing. But I would like to join Justin on the Blazers. I think it takes big balls to bet it early. And so with all that being said, I am interested in moving on the Blazers.
Yeah, they had a chance. The door was open for the Trailblazers at one point in the game. The fucking Mitch Johnson had a terrible halftime talk. 10-point lead evaporated to 2-point lead, and then the Trailblazers turned over the ball 3 or 4 times after that, and that's when the game was basically cooked there. So I agree with you on that aspect. And I agree with Chappie as well. The Spurs definitely played tight for that first 5 minutes of the game. Everyone else was pretty tight. Wemby wasn't shooting, and he doesn't have to fucking lay anything up. So he was just barely jumping and dunking. So that took nothing for him. So I agree with both of you guys. I mean, I think it's a tough game. So,
and Stephen Harrison says last game was their chance. I don't think it takes that much here. I don't think it takes that much for the Spurs can win this game somewhat comfortably. I mean, didn't the Cavaliers beat the Raptors comfortably and they won by 10? I mean, I think that the Spurs can do something quite similar here. And I think they come in with that, not playing well and still being in complete control, in my estimation. That I'm very, very interested in backing the Blazers at double-digit points. It's a sick feeling. Like, I'm not sitting here going, oh, this must bet. But you have 76% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the Spurs. This line's not moved at circa. So you have to say to yourself, well, if this was the regular season, what would you do? Now, of course, the playoffs are a different animal. But if this was regular season, I would be all over the Blazers. The books are saying, hey, if you want to bet the Spurs, come here, do it here. We'll take it. Now, the books can be wrong and the public can win. So I'm very, very interested in the Portland Trailblazers. Let's roll on.
All right. Last game on the NBA slate is the Houston Rockets, LA Lakers. And I hate to admit that the Lakers looked pretty interesting in that first game. And I don't trust the character of the Houston Rockets. There's 53% of the bets and 54% of the money on the Lakers. This line has gone from a 5.5 to a 5 for Houston. I mean, I get it. I get why people are betting it. And the longer this series goes, the better it is for the Lakers. What do you think, Jimmy?
Well, the line threw me for a loop. The line's telling us that KD's playing. But so that's what I'm right with Markel. I'm like, I guess he's coming back, I guess he's coming back. Thank you, 40 Kid. Yeah, it was a nice casher, man. It was a big help to the night. Plus 140. So you could have, if you waited a little bit longer than me, you got plus 180. Yeah, 40 Kid. It's the best bet in playoff hockey is if the Oilers go down, you bet them right away. I mean, yeah, very thankful. So, Durant goes for 26 a game, 5th leading scorer in NBA history. And we certainly saw that he was missing. That's about as ugly as a game as I've seen a team play, especially when you look at the Rockets and you see their athleticism and you see listen to this, Jose, they took 27 more shot attempts than the Lakers in that game.
Jesus.
27 more shot attempts. I mean, it was as ugly as you could imagine. 37.6 from the field and 33.3 from three, 68% from the free throw line. And then Sengun didn't step up, but maybe he needs all the attention that Durant takes. Amen didn't really step up. Reed Shepherd scored 17. I thought he played terrible. Jabari Smith and Tari Eason scored 16. I thought they both didn't play well. I think the fact is that the Lakers shot 60.6 from the floor and 52.6 from three. And Luke Kennard goes for a career playoff high of 27 and goes 5 for 5 from three. So I think it's very reasonable to say, well, that's not happening again. So in saying that, if that's not happening again, I do not see how this game goes over. How does this possibly go over? Now it's climbing fast, but this 208 must be saying that Durant is in. And we want that to go as high as possible and bet the under. So that's the situation. The situation for me is twofold. One, KD's announced out. I'm probably going to bet the Rockets again, which is a sickening thing to say out loud. If KD is in, I'm going to stay off the Rockets, but I will be on the under. Now, I don't want that. I don't, maybe it's a different beast, the playoffs, and you get your star player back and you feel great about it. Maybe the playoffs are a different beast. So let me not say 100% I won't be on the Rockets, but I think he'll be overvalued returning. So there's a lot still to figure out with this basketball game. But I want the under. Can you believe that 205 points were scored? Is that right? 205, something like that. 205 points were scored, and the Lakers shot 60 and 52. Come on. So the under, but I do need all the information to come out. So at this point, and I saw this last night, that my card's going to make me sick to my stomach. It's just a sickening, horrifyingly ugly card of bets I don't want to press the button on. But we also talk about when you're extremely confident, that doesn't help your ROI. So, Jose, we're going over on the show. So, 76ers, a possible move on the under or the. I think I cut that. I think I just have to. I do not want more than one unit on the Sixers-Celtics game, unless you find angles on the Celtics. And then the Blazers. And again, that's going to make me sick. I could see both these bets losing by 30 each. And then the Rockets without KD. But if KD's back, then the under. And, Jose, let's get into NHL and let's move fast.
I bet the Celtics second quarter -4 shots and asking 8.
Yeah.
Montreal Canadiens versus the Tampa Bay Lightning here. 3 cents of movement towards the Lightning at BetOnline. 5 cents. Actually, no, it's 2 cents, excuse me, at Bovada. So not much movement. No money splits in the NHL. What do you think?
Oh, the Lightning are a must bet. I've taken some heat for this thought process, but look, Cooper lost his mind. The Lightning had 4 offensive zone penalties. In the most important game of the year, it would be hard for me not to openly slap the face of a player who did that on the bench and then get suspended. It was just terrible. And Cooper's very, very upset. Look, I'm not fading the Habs because they're a bad hockey team. I didn't bet the Lightning at -240 to win the series. That number was ludicrous. So for me, the Lightning are a must bet in this game. Yes, Slavkovsky is going to be an absolute monster. Yes, the Habs over the next few years are going to be the top 5 teams in the NHL without a doubt with the young players they have coming up. Josh Anderson's made for playoff hockey, but Dobish only had to make 20 saves. He's going to have to make 35 here. Now, the elephant in the room is the Lightning can't win at home in the playoffs. It's insane. They've lost 9 of their last 10 home games in the postseason. They're 1-12 in their last 12 overtime games in the playoffs. Look, those numbers stick to you. It's hard to shake them off. So I can understand, people not agreeing with the take, but the Lightning have been knocked out in the playoffs first round in 3 straight years. They just missed winning 3 straight Stanley Cups before this. So obviously there's some vividness bias in play. I think the Lightning have to be bet on the -1 line, and I did it. And I think that the Lightning have to be bet to win the series because now we're talking -120. It's not like the Lightning are going to be afraid to play Montreal. That's where they dominate in the playoffs, is on the road. And if they could win here, then the momentum will be all there. So I've doubled down on this game. Lightning on the -1 line and Lightning to win this series. I got -117 on the -1 line. That was a -182 money line and a +142 puck line. And to win the series, I got -120. Jose, let's roll.
Let's roll on to the Bruins and Sabres. They showed a gutless performance in the third period, the Boston Bruins. I am not Jeremy Swayman guy. I have not believed him, and my Boston Bruins have had goalies that have stood on their heads in the playoffs, like one Tuukka Rask. People don't forget about our guy Tuukka Rask and Tim Thomas, who's somewhere in the woods right now, probably killing an animal. -167 to -160 now for the Buffalo Sabres here. Did they blow their load, Jimmy? Did they dancing around, skating around that hockey fucking dummy thing and then falling on their ass back there? Is that the full nut, Jimmy? Did they blow their load in game 1? What happens here?
The city's on fire right now. There was this massive move towards the Bruins while I was betting it. So I ended up getting plus money on the -1. It moved down to -157. So there was a 14-cent move towards the Bruins while I had not pressed the button yet. While it was, which is insane to me. Look, the city cares more than anything. And I truly believe, and I didn't get here on my own. AM helped a ton. The nightly bag helped a ton. That the pressure is now off of the Sabres. Nuke Worker on the Bruins is his gamma ray play of the day, and we'll go over all the plays of the day at the end of the spot. And he gave that to us off the top. I got to copy and paste it, and we'll go over it. But for me, there was a lot of pressure on the Sabres, a ton of pressure. And why would I not? I think that the Sabres beat them soundly today. The Bruins got 17 shots on goal. Now, you could say, well, yes, that was because they took the lead and they started playing, 5 guys back and started playing defensive. Okay. But we just had the first 2-goal third period deficit overcome by the Buffalo Sabres since May Day in 1993. The Bruins got 17 shots on goal. We just had the first victory for the Sabres at home and first victory in the playoffs since 2011. Look, it's time now. Also, Pasternak with his 3 points, he moved ahead of Cam Neely and Wayne Cashman, and he's 2 back of Bobby Orr. God, Pasternak, don't pass Bobby Orr. But here, it's the Sabres -1. I think they win this game. I think they come in relaxed and not so stressed out. And the Bruins are one of the worst road teams in the National Hockey League. So it's I didn't get here. The chat, there's AM in the house. The chat got me here. Chris Warren says letdown spot in Buffalo. That was the letdown spot, I believe. Now I could be wrong. The letdown spot just happened. The Sabres were squeezing their sticks so tight, and if it wasn't for Tage Thompson, they'd be down 1-0. But they're not.
Yeah, what a fucking animal that guy is.
But they're not down 1-0. And now they're coming for blood. So we'll see. Let's roll on.
I'm on the Homer parlay, and I'm on Nuke's Gamma Ray play of the day. Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox parlay for me. And obviously, I'm on the Bruins money line in that parlay with you, Nuki. So let's fucking ride. Utah.
Wait, one last thing. The stress and nerves of almost winning the Eastern Conference, winning your division, but you haven't won a playoff game since 2011, and you're a huge favorite. Game 1 was the Bruins' chance. Now they're going to rue the consequences. When it goes back to Boston, they'll fight back. I've already made bets on Wednesday's card and Thursday's card. Jose, let's roll.
Yes, let's roll.
And again,
here.
don't let my confidence, and I know that my friends, like guys I'm really close with, like Nate Newkirk, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care about my confidence. So don't let look, if friends don't talk friends off dogs. So if you believe that there's a letdown spot for the Sabres after scoring those goals late, then follow through with it. I feel differently about it, and this is part of the fun of capping. So we don't talk friends off of dogs. If you believe in the Bruins, and you think it's a letdown spot, Chris, then follow through with it. You got great cappers on your side. There's my guy Guillermo Zertucci in the house. What up, G? Let's roll.
Yep, special days in Boston when you can bet 3 teams all playing in the same day, 2 in the playoffs and 1 against the Yankees. It's a good day right there. Utah Mammoth versus the Vegas Golden Knights here, Jimmy. This is obviously a special series for our guy Stevie Fehrenbach. Shout out to you, Steve. Good luck, my man. -155 is now -153 at BetOnline. Bovada opened up at -150, and it is still there now.
I could get to Vegas. Vegas is not off the card at this point. Could get there. Might get there. But I'm on the over 6. I'm not an over better. It's certainly not in the playoffs, but I think there's goals in this hockey game. I think that the Mammoth don't need to get stronger defensively. They're a pretty strong defensive team, surprisingly, and it's their defense. I don't find that, especially that top 6 forward group, too defensively responsible. But I think that 6 is a nice number for the Vegas Golden Knights and their ability to score goals here at home at T-Mobile. Shout out to our guy Razor Sharp Picks, who's just been cashing with this first period under, second period over. I've not been a part of it, but I love seeing it, and I'm not going to start now after the run it's been on. The Mammoth need to step up, but with Tortorella, the Knights have not lost in regulation. And look what the Knights did. And we see this in a lot of playoff games. This isn't just Tortorella, but look what the Knights did. 52 hits. They out-hit Utah 52-29. That's why Steven Fehrenbach was so pissed off. The highest amount of hits Vegas had in the regular season was 36. They had 52 hits. They're locked in. And we know what happens when this team's locked in. They can win a cup. I don't think they're going to win a cup this year or anything like that. But I do regret, it's hard with the NHL playoff pool to make the cuts. And I did cut the 3 nights. I whittled it down to 25. And then I had to cut the nights. But Steven Fehrenbach says someone other than Cooley needs to grab their nuts and contribute. The empty net goal at the end was inexcusably bad. Cooley and Stenlund did score. Vejmelka's first ever playoff game. Clayton Keller was sort of missing in action. It's something that we've always feared about Clayton Keller when the games get tough, but it's up to him to step up. I'm not going to write his story, but I'm close to moving on the Knights on the -1 line, and I very well could get there. I'm on the over 6. And AM says Vegas playing violent playoff hockey. Cup future on them, looking really nice. And Steve says great learning series for the Mammoth this year, regardless of the outcome. A birth of a fun new rivalry. Absolutely, great point. All right, Jose, let's roll on. We got to be tight.
Last game, Avalanche versus the Kings. The Avalanche, huge favorites. They are very, very good at hockey. This line has barely moved, if anything, Jimmy. It's right now 10 cents towards the Avalanche here. 60-70, 260-270 at BetOnline.
Yeah, I got my futures. I got the +900 from the beginning of the year, and I'm comfortable with that. Had you moved on the -1s, it would push and it'd be very risky and expensive. Had you moved on the puck line, you would have lost. Had you moved on the under, and you would have got paid. AM is on the over 5.5 here. Says this line's an overreaction. Shout out to Frank, Virginia in the house. So we don't need to talk much more about this game, but let's shout out Wedge Wall. 33 years and 248 days old, the third oldest goaltender in league history to pick up a win in his first NHL career playoff start. I see the future, and the Avalanche win the Stanley Cup. So I'll just be patient until they play tougher teams or go down in a series. There's nothing for me here. Jose, just very quickly for you guys, in the National Hockey League here, I have moved on some games, and I know we got to put a bow on the show quick. So, but I have moved on some games. I'm on the Senators at -117 in Game 3 back in Ottawa. That's not until Thursday. I'm on the under 7 tomorrow night in Edmonton, Anaheim, and I love it. Now, there's going to be a ton of people on the over 6.5s, and I don't want to talk you off that if that's how you're handling things. But I'm on the under 7, and I love it. I love that bet. And these are 1.5 bets. And then for the coin saying, how about the Flyers last night? Coin, the Flyers are playing very good hockey. I will be on the Penguins in Game 3 and Game 4, regardless of the outcome of Game 3. And the line's moving towards the Flyers, so I'm waiting on that one. There will be more action coming up here. It's time to attack the playoffs. I don't attack Game 1s because I want the story to begin being told so that I can take advantage of the story. And that's what's happening now. I cannot wait for the playoffs. Shout out to Salty Pete and Harbor Acres Cottages for the $500 bonus to our playoff pool. Thank you to the 25 people that signed up. So we have $3,000 for 2 people. That's fun.
Sheesh.
That's fun. $3,000 for 2 cappers. That's fun. Let's make some money here. This is what this channel's about. So shout out to all of you guys here. We have all the action there on the side. We got to put a bow on the proceedings. But thank you guys so much for all of your support. I'm going to add extra action in now. I told you those NBA spots were being held back. New Corker, yes, they were for the first week. Now we have a 2-hour limit. We're aiming for an hour and a half. But again, Jeff allows us and gives us the autonomy. This is too long of a show. We need to go shorter than this. But thank you guys all for your support. Nuke Worker Coin, Frank Virginia, AM, Steve Fehrenbach, Guillermo Zertucci, Miss Smokes a Lot. Thank you guys. Truly, the Groovy Alien, San Francisco 49er, Chappie Funk, Andrew G. Thank you for supporting Midwest Margins, our friend Lucas Ryans, a new X handle. Tell me you didn't just say that. 40 Kid, Dutch Boy Fresh, DC Capper, And Jose Bouquet, thank you for all of your hard work, my friend. Let's put a bow on the show, man. It's tick-tock, tickety-tock.
Yep, let's get out of here. But I forgot to bet the Nationals. I'm going to bet the first 5 because the first 5 difference in that game is ridiculous, Jimmy. After this show ends, just go take a gander at that first 5 difference, and you'll be probably doubling up or something as well. But let's get out of here.
My only bet is that first 5, but yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. So let's Jay, hey, Los Bookmaker.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pub Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Dabby, and the fam. Dutch wine time, Spooner, and OG Wham. So hit the like button. Don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.